everybody, I'm Paula Smith and
I'm Stephen Jones.
And we are hosting this year's 2019 Relationship Peacebuilding Conference on April 27th, 2019 here at the Hope Artiste Village. And we just want you guys to know that the conference is going to be going on during the Winter's Farmers Market, and it's the last day. So we're hoping that you're able to come here to the market and then maybe pop on in here at 11 o'clock to kind of hang out with us. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about consciousness. We're going to be talking about, love and peace building. We're going to be talking about all of it. So it's from 11 to 1 on April 27th, which is a Saturday. So, and so we just kind of want to check in with you guys, let you guys know about that, and also let you guys kind of know a little bit about us. We're your hosts, and we're also going to be your speakers. So we're just going to kind of chop it up a little bit here on this video, and and kind of get to know Steve, who is from Rhode Island. He's back here from Atlanta, Georgia. And so go on ahead, Steve.
Yeah, so as Paula talked about, I'm really excited about this opportunity to share with you all, some of my experience. Paula kind of laid it out for you all, but I, especially want to talk to the men, because I have a lot of information, that I want to speak to men about, and I'm sure we have some experiences where we can relate to, especially in the area about relationships.
Yeah.
I know Paula talks a lot about paradigms, and, as she talks about paradigms, I think that's an important place in terms of relationship, because there are some traditional paradigms around relationships, and I believe that disrupting, some of those traditional paradigms is key in terms of how we move through our relationships. And part of the relationship, when I talk about relationships, I'm talking about intimate relationships, and I'm also talking about non-intimate.
Non-intimate,
yeah,
absolutely. Maybe a relationship at work, maybe a relationship with your family member, maybe something, a partner or business partner, or your job. We know things are stressful now out there, and and we'll talk to you a little bit about that. People are looking for a way out of the insanity.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Very true, very true. And I've never heard anyone, say that relationships are easy. The narrative around that for me has been, relationships are hard. But often when we hear, that relationships are work, although men, we're very work oriented, when we hear work around our relationships, often we head for the hills. So there's something about staying present in your relationship, and I guess taking advantage of opportunities within the relationship to stay connected to your partner.
Right. And we talk about this whole thing about paradigm. So paradigm really is, we're just going to chop it up, break it down. Paradigm is just a way of thinking.
Yes.
Right? There's a way that we think about relationships. And if our paradigm, or the way we think about relationships, will lead us to jackpots and lead us to places where we are unhappy, then maybe we need to change paradigms.
Exactly.
And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about something new. There's a technology that is playing out in relationships. There's a new technology that we want to introduce you to about how to work within a relationship, how to become successful, how to explore yourself and grow yourself and become self-actualized in relationships. So it's no longer this thing like, that we can just kind of do what we want, or these knee-jerk kind of reactions. That there is actually something happening in relationships that we need to be conscious of.
That's right.
And
it operates on both the conscious and the unconscious level. But if I could,
yeah,
would you mind bring me back a little bit, because when you said jackpot, can you expand on that a little bit for me?
Yeah. So let's say so let's talk about two ways of looking at relationships, right? So one could be, okay, we got all these problems in a relationship. And one could be the problem-focused side, right? So in other words, what I'm doing is I'm looking at all the ways in which you are causing problems for me in my relationship. So I'm counting the way that you behave that's going to offend me.
Got it.
So that means we got these problems, we got to fix them, and when we don't fix them, right? It just causes these kind of jackpot. We get frustrated, we get unnerved, we're unhappy. There's a lot of tension, and then we bring that tension into the workplace, right?
Right.
So then there's another way of looking at a relationship, another paradigm is through healing.
Right, good point, good point. Yeah.
So that means if you cause me some stress, right, rather than saying, okay, you're my problem, I could look at, so what is this thing that you're causing in me, this trigger, what is this trigger trying to say to me about me?
That's a really good point, because I know when we were talking recently, and I mentioned sort of like the ensuing power struggle. And often when people hear that term, they go somewhere else. But again, with some of that traditional thinking around paradigms, we have some new ways of thinking about that power struggle as well too. And I know when that thought process was first introduced to me around the power struggle, I said, well, what's after the power struggle? And my mentor said, well, the relationship of your dreams.
The relationship of your dreams.
And my God.
That's the other side of it. Yeah.
And the thought of that for me was almost euphoric. I thought about that, the relationship of my dreams.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I got very excited about that.
Right.
Very excited about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, Steve and I, we have the same dad.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. And I can appreciate, how Paula embraces me, in terms of our father, my biological father and Paula's spiritual father are the same person. My father, Reginald Jones Sr., was a powerful man, and very instrumental in terms of who I am today as a man, and then also who I am as a therapist, because he was also a therapist, and initially I didn't want to become a therapist, but I'm quoted as saying that, I didn't choose this field, it chose me.
Right, exactly.
And I laugh with that, because just in terms of discovering who I am, my own personal growth, my own journey, around that, around growth, development, I did not understand the power, of fatherhood, the father of parenting, until I truly embraced who I was as a man.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, our Father has laid out a foundation and has taught us, and basically I've been at his knee, for over 30 years. And that's one of the reasons that Stephen and I have gotten together, and why we want to have this conference, right?
Yes.
Part of it is a very sentimental thing. Very sentimental, and it's about passing on the legacy in which we inherited from Reggie.
Yes.
And the other part of that is being able to help address some of the tension, some of the chaos, some of the stress, some of the pain, that is all around us, seeming in these sort of political times, these stressful times, and to offer a way in which folks could navigate through this peacefully. Because, when things impact us, right, they impact everything around us, our partners, our children, our families, our work. So we wanted to host an event where you can come in, and here's the thing, we're not trying to get a message out there. We're trying to get a message in here.
Good point. Excellent
so
point.
It's really about creating a message to go inside of you, not some things we're trying to put out there and then you kind of grab, but more or less a way of life, a journey, a way to see yourself, a way to understand yourself, a way to grow yourself, and to meet other folk on a journey.
Yes.
Which is our journey.
Yes, it is.
My journey started over 30 years ago in recovery, and I've been on that journey of learning about myself. And now, part of that journey and what I discovered about myself, when you're talking about being a therapist, I didn't want to be a therapist either. I wanted to be some corporate mogul out there. Right? But there's something about when you start to open up and you start to wake up to systems around you and the way things work, right? And the impact of outside forces. If there isn't something under you to hold you, right? You're just gonna kind of shatter. And then the other side of that is when you wake up, there's a responsibility you have
Very good point.
too.
Very
Right?
good point.
There's a responsibility
Yes.
to pass it on. And that's what our Father was about. It was
Yes.
like, passing this on to, the next person, the next human being, spreading the message. But the message is an internal message. It's not a message out there.
Right. Yeah. And internally, from my perspective, from me to you. So therefore, if I'm internalizing who I am and becoming present within, and what I like to say, I'm digging the skin I'm in.
right.
And I'm confident in that.
Yeah.
And I'm confident in who I am, and that's something that I've had to move towards.
Yeah.
Throughout my own personal growth and throughout my own journey.
Yeah.
And life is a journey, and so there were some issues around that in terms of who I am as a man, who I've become as a man. Understanding that there's many different facets to manhood, that it's more than one dimensional, right? And so there are some societal influences around that as well too, that have changed or can change the trajectory of manhood. But I think the other part of it too is that in our culture, American culture, that there is no rite of passage. So there's a lot of different things that one can try to put their hand on, to try, which I guess qualifies me or, lets me arrive to quote manhood. And there are so many different things that it can often be confusing.
Right.
And I know that's something that we were talking about recently was that, I'm thinking a man is this, and then my partner, she's thinking it's going to be this. And then one of the struggles that I've had, in my own relationships is that I often feel as though women are trying to, I guess, more or less identify who I am through their experiences. Right?
Right.
If that's making sense to you. So
yeah.
they have an interpretation who they believe a man is.
And what a man is.
Yeah.
Right.
And then often they're trying to define that in the relationship.
Right.
Right.
That's where problems come in.
Right, exactly.
That's what we were saying. Problems come in with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the kind of real talk, right? This kind of real talk.
Yeah. Honest dialogue.
We're keeping it real. And, this is for everybody.
That's right.
So if you're a millennial out there, you're Gen X, you're a boomer like us. I think we boomers, right?
Oh, okay.
So
I qualify.
You qualify. Yeah, we qualify. So we want to see you. We're inviting you. It's a free event. It's a free event. And it's April 27th, Saturday, 11 to 1 here at the Hope Artiste Village. Yes. And you can call me. You can text me. 401-782-7899. We're going to have that at the end of the credits, at the end of this video. And we just hope to see you there.
Yes.
Just real talk. We might have some water here for you, but there's a lot of places in the village that you can get something to eat and whatnot, and then come relax. Okay?
Yes, and we hope to see you.
We hope to see you there.
Yeah, both men and women. We invite all the community. And you did say it was free, right?
It is free.
In Georgia, we say, you mean for the free? Yes, the free.
For the free.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Look how the body don't girl, no man, no one, you. I know what is